A heartbreaking crime.
I've never seen so many cops come at once.
2 people shot to death at a Loveland home.
We're all really close in this neighborhood.
Tonight, police revealing new details.
Something really bad had happened.
What we're learning tonight about the victims and the man police say is responsible.
It is weird. It kind of just feels like, okay, just another day. But that was not normal for this neighborhood.
And we begin with those new details into Thursday's deadly shooting in Loveland. Police revealing today the victims were a 16-year-old and a 41-year-old woman.
Authorities have not released their identities yet. We are learning more tonight, though, about the man investigators are calling the suspect, including his concerning past.
Denver 7's Rob Harris is here with the latest on the investigation. Rob?
Yeah, and I want to start by saying this. We're going to be as delicate as we can be with this report because this incident involves young kids. They've been through unimaginable trauma. And I was actually on the ground in the neighborhood in Loveland yesterday. Several neighbors told me just how devastated and traumatized these kids were when they were taken out of the home. But those same neighbors have been asking for answers about what happened yesterday and why. Loveland police have identified the suspect as Javier Acevedo. We've learned he was involved in at least one child custody hearing case last year. And court records show there were several protection orders filed against him by 2 different women. A permanent restraining order was issued in June. 5 kids are listed on the protective orders, and records show Acevedo had a criminal past, including child abuse and sexual assault on a child. It was at 2:21 yesterday that police saw a 12-year-old, they say a 12-year-old called 911 while hiding in a bedroom. The 12-year-old said their mother had been shot. A 14-year-old also called to report a shooting. Officers arrived on scene about 5 minutes later. They found the 14-year-old, the 41-year-old mother who'd been shot and killed. They also found the 16-year-old victim who had been shot as well. Officers immediately began life-saving measures, but they were unable to save that 16-year-old. Within about 6 minutes, officers had found and safely removed 4 children from the home and the yard. Officers did not find Acevedo in the home, but they soon learned he may have gone to the Erie area armed with a long gun. At 5:13 p.m., police say Acevedo shot himself. Now, there are several important follow-up questions. Had police received any calls of concern about Acevedo in the month since that restraining order was issued against him? How did he have a gun, given his record, and where did he get it? Loveland police did not return our calls today, so we will keep pushing for those answers. Shannon?
All right, Rob, thanks. It's a tough one. Well, downtown Denver is going to look different this weekend as the city relocates food trucks out of lower downtown.
And this comes 2 weeks after 6 people were injured when DPD officers fired at a man with a gun near a crowd of people at 20th and Larimer. Police say the shooting did not prompt this change for food trucks. It renewed conversations about increasing safety.
Denver 7's Colette Bordelon live downtown tonight, hearing from vendors who say this is going to hurt business. Colette?
Yeah, right behind me here is where you would have seen a food truck parked and crowds gathering, trying to get something to eat as people are leaving the bars. But now those food trucks being told to move further away from lower downtown. We just saw one that we interviewed just around a block up. They're being told to be there for this weekend and the next weekend. They're really hoping that decision, though, doesn't last much longer.
I'm usually there twice a week, so I go there a fair amount.
Food trucks can feel like family.
Yeah, I just don't see why they would have to close.
Which is why it hurts regulars to see them move.
They kick us out.
Osama Abdul's truck is parked next to Muhammad Alisa's.
They just want us to be away from our spot, and the reason is for public safety.
The two normally bank on the big crowds coming from bars on weekend nights.
This is my area, and all my customers, they know me over there. And they love my suit.
I'm sure it's not gonna be any business here. Zero.
Elisa's truck was caught behind the chaos of the police shooting near 20th and Larimer, where police hurt 6 bystanders after they say a suspect flashed a gun at them.
We don't do anything wrong, believe me. We're just selling food. Try to make a living.
The police department says moving the food trucks wasn't prompted by the shooting, but did renew conversations about safety downtown. And police believe moving the trucks could help clear crowds when people are leaving the bars.
They say we cannot be there no more for this week and next week. And maybe it's gonna be for good.
These 2 owners are scared about what the move means for their business.
If you ask me about how much important that food truck, that's equal my life.
And they don't think it'll help when it comes to safety.
Since we start this business, no food truck caused any problem for any reason.
They want to make sure their voices are heard by more than their customers.
This is the only thing we have it for living. Please stop killing us.
Those I talked with say the food truck community, they're planning on showing up to City Council on Monday to try and find a solution that works for everyone. Live in Denver, Colette Bortle on Denver 7.
Now take a look at this. Air Tracker 7 captured a land spout on the ground out near Buckley Space Force Base. The National Weather Service did issue a brief tornado warning as strong storms move through the area. Tonight there are no reports of any damage. A trained weather spotter says the landspout lasted about 3 minutes. The rotation did reach all the way from the ground up into the storm cloud, picking up dirt along the way.
In Washington, House lawmakers have passed a bill banning assault-style weapons. This bill would make it a crime to knowingly import, sell, manufacture, transfer, or possess a semi-automatic assault weapon or large-capacity ammunition feeding device. Now, if you already own one of these, you are allowed to keep it. Calls to ban these weapons intensified after mass shootings in Uvalde, Texas, Buffalo, New York, Highlands Park, Illinois. An assault-style weapon also used in last year's shooting at the Table Mesa King Soopers in Boulder. Well, the bill now heads to the Senate. It is likely to fail there. Assault-style weapons were previously banned in the U.S. under a 10-year law that expired in 2004.
Well, tonight, millions of Americans are checking their tickets, hoping to win tonight's nearly $1.3 billion Mega Millions jackpot.
And the winning numbers are 13, 36, 45, 57, 67, and the Mega Ball is 14. Now, here in Colorado, profits generated from lottery ticket sales go toward our state parks and conservation efforts.
And we wanted to take this conversation deeper and ask, are certain groups being targeted to buy tickets and are inadvertently paying more than their fair share for the parks? Denver 7's Rob Harris takes us 360 on this $81 billion industry.
You won't hear the beeps and buzzes of the Mega Millions ticket machine here at Staunton State Park.
Feeling the breeze, seeing the trees.
It's relaxing, it's freeing.
But you will feel the impacts of the Colorado lottery.
We're here at Staunton State Park along one of our the trails here that was funded through some lottery dollars.
About 19% of revenue for Colorado Parks and Wildlife comes from lottery funds. It's an investment that those at the park say pays off over and over again.
My name is Zach Taylor. I'm the park manager here at Staunton State Park. We're actually standing in our visitor center. The visitor center itself was about $3.2 million. Investments through lottery funds, through Parks and Wildlife funds, give us that opportunity to provide the resource and to protect it, right? So not only are we trying to bring folks to the outdoors, but demonstrate how they can still preserve the resources that we have in the state.
So without that money, you know, we would be significantly more limited in what we're able to do.
About $17.6 million from the Colorado Lottery goes towards our park system each year, according to Parks and Wildlife. But here's the question. If these are programs we're all supposed to benefit from, are we all paying into them equally? That's a question that a group of journalists with the Howard Center for Investigative Journalism set out to answer.
We are intensely interested in stories that center around questions of equity.
The Howard Center analyzed data of lotteries across the country, including Colorado's, honing in on where lottery tickets are being sold.
We found in pretty much every state we looked in is that these stores tend to be concentrated in some way in communities that have lower median incomes, lower levels of education, and in many places, higher levels of African-American residents or Hispanic residents.
In Colorado, neighborhoods with lottery retailers have a lower median income by about $20,000. About 31% of the residents have only a high school degree or lower, compared to 22% statewide. And they over-index with Hispanic residents by about 6%.
Most of the coverage we see around lotteries is about big jackpots and who's winning, and we think it makes more sense to take a systemic look at the issue.
Responsible gaming really means protecting our players and not taking advantage of them and doing everything we can.
Tom Seaver is the director of the Colorado Lottery. He says looking just at the location of lottery sellers misses the full story.
We have about 70% chain retailers, so 7-Eleven picks their locations, Circle K picks their locations, we don't pick their locations. I think it's more important to look at the demographics of the actual players, and that's what we have much more, refined information about, because that's what we really care about. So if you look at our player demographics, they are very, very similar to the state. We are not overrepresented in lower incomes.
The Colorado Lottery did provide us with this report, showing similar demographics between its players and the state as a whole. What this data may miss, though, is the frequency at which these groups play the lottery and the amount of money they spend when they do. At this 7-Eleven on Tower Road in Denver, Mega Millions players have been streaming in, wanting to buy their chance at the growing jackpot, now offering the chance to turn one of them into a billionaire overnight.
Yeah, to help my couple of my siblings pay off their mortgages.
It's going to be a yacht, no doubt.
The numbers tell them they're much more likely to be struck by lightning walking out of the store than actually hit the jackpot. But they seem both aware and okay with this.
Absolutely. Okay, it's fun. You know what I mean? A break from the day-to-day.
And with every $2 chance to dream, the hope is it inspires them to get out and appreciate the beautiful state they live in, too.
It's free.
For Denver 7, I'm Rob Harris.
And here's an interesting stat. The Colorado Lottery says the hype around the Mega Millions has brought in about $6 million extra dollars for our state parks since April.
Day 3 of Broncos training camp, and tonight we're taking a closer look at the backfield and how the Broncos plan to use their 2 stars at running back.
Making history and fulfilling a dream.
It's a dream come true to have my daughter sitting beside me.
A mother-daughter duo, the first ever to pilot a Southwest flight together.
Temperatures heating up across Colorado as we go into our weekend, upper 80s here in Denver. I'll let you know how hot it will get by the end of the weekend.